title race next season, Steve.
Listen, that kid's agent's doing a great job. He scored a couple against Barca the other night. He was supposed to sign with Guardiola's brother as an agent, and he ended up going with Xavi. Fabrizio Romano mentioned it, so he's obviously been tapped up by his agent to get his name out there. Everybody knows a release clause. Same thing, just gets everyone giddy and excited end of the season. He looks a good little player, but I mean, Chelsea, I take it with a pinch of salt who Chelsea are going to buy now, because nobody cares, because they can buy whoever they want. You know what I mean? They can get whoever they want in, but it's a big mess there. I've said it before. You know, they've got £130 million midfielders hanging about there. So why do they need another one for 34? It just says a lot of nonsense to me, I'll be honest.
I mean, I get where you're coming from. I think the issue is they're going to get rid of a lot of people. You know, Kai Havertz today has told Chelsea he wants to leave. He wants this Real Madrid move. Mason Mount is seemingly on his way out. Kante looks like he might be going to Saudi Arabia. Kovacic is on his way to Man City. He's off to your boys. Loftus-Cheek, it looks like he's going AC Milan. That's 5 midfielders gone. Who do they have left after that to play in midfield? Almost they have to buy 2 or 3 midfielders if those 5 go, surely.
Yeah, they do. They need a rebuild there, like you say. It all seemed a bit rushed this season, throwing money around, and it didn't get them anywhere, to be honest. Look where they finished this season. If they can shift that amount of players out, then fair play. Then get some money back in, freshen up the squad. Then he might well be one of them who they're looking after. But I've seen that kid's name linked with everyone: Paris Saint-Germain, Man City. You know, everyone's been linked with him. So, but Chelsea, I don't know. I look at the team and I don't know. I think they've got to clear before they buy. And some of them names you said, you know, if they can get rid of them like you're talking, then they've done well. Because Kai Havertz going to Real Madrid, I don't know where that came from. Because could you see him at Real Madrid?
Look, for me, it's I don't rate Kai Havertz. I don't think he's that good. But what's being said now by Chelsea fans and sort of kind of Madridsters online is that Chelsea have been misprofiling Kai Havertz and been playing him in the wrong position with the wrong role, and there's still a top-class player in there. What's your take on that?
I don't know. I mean, before he signed for Chelsea, he was definitely a player. Everyone was looking at him and he looked great. Do you know what I mean? I just think he flatters to deceive. Sometimes I see him and he seems to get in the right positions at the right time, but there's no end product from him. It's definitely... You know, he'll go down and be remembered because he scored the winner in the European Cup final. So, but other than that, an overall performance for Chelsea, I don't think anyone's going to even ask that he's leaving. So, but it was just a bit of a shock. I don't know, Real Madrid, maybe they see him different to me, but I just don't put him at Real Madrid.
Yeah, I mean, I again, it was one of those transfers, mate, that I saw and thought, really? I couldn't quite believe it. We obviously understand that, wow, Fabrizio Romano was just tweeted about it. So I'm just checking it's the real one. Sometimes you get caught out by fake accounts. Fabrizio Romano here says, fair to say Chelsea and Kai Havertz are on the same page. Club prepared to let him go, whilst Havertz is open to trying a new chapter elsewhere. Chelsea hope more clubs join the race in the next few days after Real Madrid registered an interest last week. That's also been followed up by Jacob Steinberg, very credible journalist at The Guardian, who says that Kai Havertz tells Chelsea he wants to leave and is understood Chelsea are demanding as much as £75 million for him. And then it goes on to then say that there's another claim here that Bayern Munich are also admirers on him, but Real Madrid are going to push hard. So, I mean, if they end up raising anywhere near 70-odd million pounds for Kai Havertz, I mean, that would be sensational business, in my opinion, for a player that has looked amateur for about 18 months, 2 years.
No, it's great business, but they need to raise money. They need to go high because the money they've been spending on everyone else, you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. But listen, they've got to drag that money back in. They've got to reset. It didn't work. The big spending spree didn't work. They've got to get rid of the deadwood. And like you say, trying to cut deadwood, nobody wants deadwood. You know what I mean? It looks like Kante might be going to the Middle East somewhere. Mason Mount to Man United baffles me again. You know, is Mason Mount the answer at Man United? I don't think so. But I don't know. I just don't know. Seems a mad window. Doesn't seem to be an awful lot floating about in this window. And I think the real quality ones are going to be too high. I think there's going to be a lot of players, mediocre players, who are going to get big moves and going to be on big money in places, and they don't deserve it to me.
From your point of view, what doesn't make sense about the Mason Mount deal? Is it just that you don't think he's a good enough football player, or he doesn't suit Ten Hag's style of play? Like, what do you think?
I just don't see where or what he does at Man United. I don't see what he does. I've seen him at Chelsea, and yeah, he started okay and he came in and they had that season. They won the Champions League under Tuchel and that. But since then, he's gone downhill. He doesn't show me anything for England, doesn't show anything for Chelsea. Chelsea fans don't seem overly arsed that he's leaving because, yeah, he's one of their own. I think that's the only bit of attachment they've got to him. But would you say Mason Mount's one of the top midfielders in the Premier League? No. And if Man United want to be challenging Man City for the title or want to be getting in, higher end of the Champions League, you need to be looking at better players than Mason Mount.
I agree. So I agree with the last statement there 100%. We need to be looking at better. And we are. If the reports are to be believed, what United are looking to do is very much Mount as part of a midfield rebuild, but we're looking at someone bigger and better. There are, of course, Harry Kane is going to be a big focal point. There's Højlund that we're looking at, the really young Danish guy that's currently playing at Atalanta. If he's the main midfield signing and we drop 70, 80 million on him, like Fabrizio Romano says Chelsea are demanding, I've got massive concerns with that because I do think I've said it on 100 shows now, he's better than Fred, better than McTominay, better than Donny. And he raises the ceiling from a backup point of view. But he's not better than Bruno Fernandes as an attacking midfielder. He's nowhere near the level of a Casemiro sitting in the middle. He's got good energy in comparison to those guys. We need more around him. I think he could be a good squad player, good rotation player for Man United, but again, not at 70 to 80 million. It's ridiculous amount of money, in my opinion. Ridiculous amount of money for somebody such as him. But it's going to be.
What do United need? What kind of player do they need? A number 10, a playmaker? What they're trying to achieve by him? Because they got Christian Eriksen there, who's not done it. To be fair, he's not cut it.
Well, I think Eriksen, you're right. Listen, Eriksen is fine when he's playing against the lesser teams. The problem Eriksen has is when you go up against City, were a great example in the cup final at the weekend. Technically on the ball, he's as good as not everybody on the pitch, but he's very, very good. The problem is John Stones and Rodri, physically, so they're stronger than him and they're faster than him, and he can't cope. So Man United need somebody with better ball playing ability than the Freds and the McTominays, but who's also got the energy. Man United's problem with our midfield is, barring Casemiro, they've all got an attribute that's needed, but they're not a full package. So they don't have good ability on the ball plus good physicality. Mason Mount is better than our current backups on physicality stroke ability. What we need, though, is a Caicedo. What we need is a Declan Rice. What we need is a
You can't pay 70 million for a backup, though, can you?
No, I agree. And that's where I agree with you 100%. That's why
you're better off going and getting James Maddison for 40 million from Leicester, who's a better player, in my opinion.
What, James Maddison, my only issue with James Maddison is his injury record. Again, but I don't want to be buying players that spend a lot of time out. But I agree with you. I think he's top class. James Maddison, as an attacking midfield point of view, he's better than Mason Mount. I totally agree with you. And
there's no other team in the world paying 70 million for Mason Mount.
No, there ain't. And Man United shouldn't do it either. And I think that a lot of people go, "Oh, don't be an accountant. It's not my money." Well, you should care about how much money your club's spending, because if you overspend on your players, what happened to Man United in January will repeat itself. You'll be in a good position, but you'll need to strengthen an area, but you'll have no money left to do it. So we have to be prudent. We have to spend wisely. I don't think Mount is a disgusting, terrible, worst signing ever. If it's at a sensible price, 40, 45, 50 million, you start going above 60, and I think you're eating into the budget for other players and not moving that ceiling high enough. I totally agree that we need to be focusing on better individuals. And, Chelsea, they're looking at Caicedo, who I think is a player, but Chelsea themselves, Brighton have come out today. And said, I want to make sure I quote this right when I say it. I want to make sure I read this correct again, that Brighton are going to demand more than £80 million now from Chelsea. And